Hey, I never thought I'd have to record a video like this, but I do think it's kind of funny the way that Twitter can get. And I'm only addressing this because I think a lot of people don't really know why uh, things are looking the way they are, especially if you're someone who's part of the Smash community and seeing the reaction to it. It might even be doing what it's intending to do, which is to create an air of like uncertainty and maybe even persuade you to think similar to it. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, Smash Brothers Ultimate has horrible online, and a mod was released to remove a few frames of delay to bring the feeling of online closer to offline. And one person in particular took a very big offense to this. Someone that can only be described as valuing GSP more than a social connection in their community, and proceeded to dox the developers of said mod, which in turn caused the developers to then delete everything relating to the mod and even anything on their Twitter accounts, which is fair enough. I wouldn't want to be doxxed either, and I can understand the steps taken to prevent any further harm to yourself. However, the mod itself is something that is genuinely good for the game. I think a lot of people would agree. So, me being me, cannot, that's not something, I'm sorry, that is not something I can stand for. I can understand not wanting to be in the hot seat, being in the crosshairs of someone as deranged to do something as dox someone over a mod for a video game that is 8 years old. Here you can see the post in question by aforementioned doxer. Choke on shit, you autistic fucking cheaters. My fault, it says autistic. I don't feel like I need to read further than that. The post is on screen. This is the tantrum that was in reference, or that I was referencing, and anybody that was at all involved with the start of this drama will understand that. One thing that makes me irrationally angry is like piss babies whining and going to the extent of doxing someone over something as little as a mod in a game as old as Smash Brothers Ultimate, and to acquiesce to their demands to remove the mod and try to prevent anyone else from gaining access to something that I think is, genuinely helpful to the game is not something I would stand for. So what I did is I attained the most recent version of the mod, and I created an archive so that anybody that wants to get the mod can, because, doxers should not get their way. Let's take a look at the response to that when I posted it. Okay, so here we have the post. All I did was caption the post with "because you don't reward tantrums." If you've been following along, you would probably understand that the tantrum in question is in reference to the doxer. Even if you take my tweet in a very disingenuous way, you can see that not very long after I made the tweet, I even addressed the wording in it. Let's ignore the fact that my reply is kind of contextually displaced. The heart of what I'm saying is, yeah, the moment I hit post, I regretted my wording. I just hate bitch-made motherfuckers getting in their way. I respect Blue Jay for doing what they felt best when it comes to the safety. I just chose the optimal wording to antagonize the doxer. And yes, that's really it. I worded my tweet like that in hopes that the person who doxed Blue Jay would see it, because I am someone that doesn't like people doing shit like that. No, dude, you're not gonna get your way after you dox someone. What do you expect? And here we have a response to my tweet. Modder creates a lag reducing mod for SSBU. Salty player doxes him. Modder feels betrayed by community, takes down mod, exits and asks others to not redistribute his work. Publicly redistribute it in any way because you don't reward tantrums. And y'all wonder why people hate you. Now, I think this is a perspective you can only get to if you just got finished micro-dosing stupid gas. Anybody with two brain cells to rub together can probably figure out that the tantrum I was referring to was the doxer, which is particularly why I'm not too worried, because if we look here, this is the kind of person who is weighing in on the conversation, quote tweeting a post that says right-wing content in 2005 and right-wing content now.
This land is your land, this land is my land. I'm a Texas tiger, you're a liberal wing.
I don't need to say anything. If you're familiar with the state of Smash Brothers, at least the community on Twitter, you know, the Everything app, you kind of are familiar with the large push of right-wing grifting into the community. It's nothing new. These losers have been here since Elon took over the app, and I don't think that's going to be anything that changes anytime soon. But I do think it's kind of funny how they attempt to push their opinions out as if they mean anything. I don't feel like there's much more that needs to be said other than it's very obvious what I meant. But even in case it wasn't, I've already changed the wording in the places where it actually matters, such as the archive on GitHub itself. I can't do it on Twitter because you gotta be shitting out of your fucking ears if you think I'm gonna be paying for Twitter Blue to edit my tweet. And I'm not gonna delete the tweet and rewrite it because that would just make finding the repo even harder than it already needs to be. Now, while people may be concerned about the fact that I'm republishing another person's mod, keep in mind that it was initially developed as an open source project, which means others were free to fork and clone the repository in order to make their own adjustments to it as they see fit. You can't exactly go back on that once you do it. Once you put it on the internet, it's kind of out there forever. And especially if you go into it with that framing, it's kind of naive to think you can sort of put the genie back in the bottle anyways. Now, you may be asking yourself, why am I even addressing this at all? That's a very good question. I was initially just going to let this like roll by, as all Twitter things do, because there's no, I don't really gain anything from this other than pissing off the people that don't matter. And if you know me at all, which you probably don't, that's something I like to do a lot. I'm someone that likes to play with fire, I'm sorry. I don't really have anything else to prove, nor do I really want to prove it, because again, it's Twitter. I didn't need to even make this in the first place. But yeah, see ya.